Hi, bright lights. Welcome and thank you for being here. My name is Tina, and in today's video, we are going to take a little walk through the healing journey. We're actually going to talk about what it means to be on your healing journey. We're going to talk a little bit about the truths involved with the healing that I have discovered on my own journey and the journey I have taken with many, many of my clients. And I also want to talk a little bit about the illusions as well to the healing journey. So let's get right into it. What does it mean to heal when one is on their awakening journey? Actually, being on your awakening journey means you have already activated the healing process because to heal means you are aware of some type of pattern or experience that negatively impacted your way of being, and you're not creating reality or your reality, and your manifestations are not really what you are looking for. The best definition I have found for the word heal, and these are the words that I found that I deeply resonated with, is to soothe, to restore, to ease, to relieve, to recover. I didn't really care for the idea of healing as to make whole or to cure. And the reason that I didn't like that is because to make whole has this underlying sense that there's something wrong with you, that you're not whole already. And to cure sounds very permanent. And those are two things I don't think really reflect reality, in my opinion. As spiritual beings having a human experience, we are already whole, and there is nothing permanent about our ever changing reality here on earth. See, when Ascended Master Joshua, Jesus, came to earth and healed people, it was really the person who did the healing. See, standing in his energy, because he was so high consciousness, others could see themselves as they really were, whole and perfect. That is why he said, "Now go and tell no one what has happened here." Because he knew if they went and told them what had happened, there would be all of these old beliefs projecting back onto him, and that could actually reverse the healing that had been done. So, as we know, healing is most notably attached to some form of trauma. Trauma affects the mind and the body. And of course, there are many causes, from attacks, accidents, emotional, physical abuse over many years, and yes, even TV and social media. Seeing terrible, terrible atrocities on the news on a regular basis can cause trauma. Probably the biggest pitfall or illusion about healing from traditional therapy is having the patient relive their trauma, basically tell their story over and over in attempt to desensitize the patient to the trauma. I actually heard and listened to a podcast of a psychiatrist actually say that they were desensitizing the person from the trauma. And as an empath who understands that my sensitivity is my superpower, this kind of therapy can actually be very damaging. In fact, spiritual healing is about taking a holistic approach by bringing awareness to what is happening in your life and why you are manifesting your reality the way it is. I mean, what beliefs did you take on that keep you from manifesting a life that has joy and purpose in it? Are you continuing to experience abuse from family, intimate partners, friends, bosses, and coworkers? Are you struggling to support yourself financially? We have to think about ourselves too as multidimensional beings. And, as a holistic approach, we can also bring in the scientific perspective of trauma, because the brain has been proven to actually change during trauma, which can make you go to those places where it causes you to be over anxious, depressed, where you don't feel safe at any time. Even procrastination is now considered a trauma response. And memories can get very fragmented. You can disassociate completely from the trauma, as I used to call it, codependent amnesia. And these changes can make it harder to concentrate and to make good decisions when you are, being under any type of stress at all. And then there is the aspect of trauma that is stored in the body that can actually be carried through the DNA. And this comes back to that multidimensional being. As I was saying, this affects our ancestral family lines. You can suffer chronic pain, muscle tension, digestive issues, fatigue, and the list goes on and on. That's why it's so important as a part of the healing process to bring awareness back into the body. Bringing a daily presence practice into your healing journey, even if it's 5 minutes a day, can bring you some relief. Feeling your emotions is also part of a necessary healing journey because by feeling them, they can then be processed, not reliving the trauma over and over. Though doing spiritual work, you can learn to sit with your emotions, breathe into them, feel where they are in the body, give them a voice if you need to, and let the emotions and the feelings process through without judgment. The emotions get stuck and cause all those issues I talked about earlier if you don't allow them to process all the way through. The healing journey is also not a destination. That is the illusion. You don't have to put everything on hold in your life to finish your healing. In fact, it is best to continue to do your healing while you're living your life as best you can to the fullest as at the most optimal stage because your life will reflect back to you what your next step in the healing journey will be. However, it's also important to take breaks to allow your healing to fully integrate. Our bodies take some time to recover, so we must allow our bodies to catch up. Another pitfall or illusion about healing is being careful about not getting stuck into the feeling that you always have healing work to do, feeling like there's always something you need to fix about yourself. That can be a little addictive, so just be careful there. Some of the easiest things you can do to self-heal, let's go to the brain, is meditation. But that doesn't work for everybody. If you have a busy mind, and this is something I have as well, I use a lot of guided meditations that are helpful. And affirmations and subliminal positive message are excellent for reprogramming the brain because, again, remember from the trauma, the brain actually changed. And now you're looking to change the brain into the way that you want it to be. So you can do that through journaling and any type of brain balancing pictures, somatic eye movements, and Qigong is also great for the brain and the body because they use balancing movements. And specifically for the body, you can do yoga, walking meditations, hiking, breath work. I like the Wim Hof method. Stretching, massage is really good for releasing stored up trauma. That's all that pain when you get that really deep massage and it's very painful. Because when we are stressed, and when we are in these trauma responses that we have developed that become patterns, we hold a lot of tension and store those emotions in our body, and they're very painful. So you can also do spiritual work, energy work, Reiki, light body work. Seeing a healer that can hold space for you is really helpful into allowing you to build the clarity to see the patterns, to see and feel the emotions and where they are in the body. Having that objective person can be very helpful. But the most important thing you can do is getting enough rest. That's how your body heals, how your mind heals. I mean, that is the best thing you could really do for yourself. Besides, of course, cleaning up your diet and getting some exercise. But you cannot heal if you are constantly putting toxins into your body and again, not getting enough rest because again, the toxins will affect your ability to rest and to heal. And it doesn't mean down the road you can't have an occasional glass of wine or, if you're doing plant medicine or things like that. But it's really important on your healing journey when you start on your awakening that you really want to eliminate, things like drinking heavily, smoking, if you can. Again, toxins are just they're just very hard on the healing process. So I just wanted to point that out because that can be kind of the illusions that you think you can still do all of these things and on your healing journey. And it really impedes and sets up a lot of blocks for you. So it's just something I've learned on my journey. And I feel so much better having changed all of those things, and it has brought me so much clarity, so much joy and fulfillment in your life. And I know it would do the same for you, just some of these very simple things. So you can start living your best life today while you are on your healing journey. And with that, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I wanted to keep this short, so if you haven't heard it today, just know that you are loved, you are cherished, and you are so appreciated. And I will see you in the next video. Thank